Okay, so it's been about 2 years since I've made a video, and I deleted all my videos because, well, I thought they were stupid. So yeah, this is my return, I guess, after 2 whole years. And so I thought I would come back with, a video on something that I actually care about, music. So today I thought I would actually rank one of my all-time favorite bands, all their albums, that being Korn. Uh, Korn have some albums that suck, and then obviously they have some amazing albums. So I'm gonna rank all 14 of them. See what comes in first, see what comes in last, see what's right down in the middle. Yeah. Okay, so my least favorite Korn album is the Untitled album from 2007. This is painfully boring. Um, it's got a couple good songs. Everby is good. It carries the album. But besides that, the rest of the songs just kind of suck. Starting Over and I Will Protect You are some of my least favorite Korn songs of all time. They are just fucking terrible, to me at least. The only other song on here that I can listen to without getting bored sometimes, maybe, is Evolution or Love and Luxury. Those two are pretty okay. Besides those, everything else sucks. Uh, so, number 13 is The Path of Totality. You can tell I don't like this album because I don't even have the cover to it. I have the cover to it, but it's just a little booklet. Um, Another album that's just pretty boring to me. I mean, this is their dubstep album, so maybe the reason I don't, it's not last because I have some nostalgia tied into dubstep. Besides, it's got a couple good songs on it. Narcissistic Cannibal, Get Up, Bleeding Out is underrated. I really like that one. Uh, I don't really know why they decided to make a dubstep album. They were fine with what they were doing before. And yeah, I really have nothing to say about this album except that it's just kind of boring, but slightly better than Untitled. That's what all I can say. 12 is Korn 3. They tried way too hard to try to make. See, the whole point of this album was to try and recapture the moment of like the first two albums, being the self-titled and Life is Peachy. It just did not hit at all. Now, that being said, it's not, it, it's not all terrible. Because if it was all terrible, it would be last. Oildale is great. Pop a Pill too. Like the first four actual songs, not including Uber Time, the first four actual songs are good, and everything after that just kind of sucks. You have Oildale, Pop a Pill, Fear is a Place to Live, and Move On, which I actually like. And then the rest just kind of suck, except for Are You Ready to Live? Besides that, besides those songs, the rest of the album sucks. I'm not a fan of this album. And the production, I hear some people complain about the production, but honestly, it sounds pretty raw, so I don't really have a huge problem with it. And also, the album cover kind of reminds me of like an older version of the first album cover, which I maybe that's what they were trying to do. I don't really know. But yeah. So now we can actually start getting to the albums that are actually decent to good to great to amazing, you know. And number 11 is The Nothing. Um yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this one. I know a lot of people are. And Google for some reason says this is Korn's darkest album. I understand, what Jonathan was going through when this album released. He just lost his wife and he had just lost his mother. Uh, but I'm just not the biggest fan of it. It's pretty okay. I mean, I'll listen to it. Like if there are some songs on here, I'll listen to like Cold, You'll Never Find Me, which is my personal favorite on the album, and The Darkness is Revealing. Those are like the first three actual like songs, not including The End Begins. And those are the best songs on the album. Then again, Idiosyncrasy, which is pretty alright. I like that one. And then the rest is kind of, it's good, but nothing more than just good. So, number 10, I gave to The Serenity of Suffering. Now, actually, the first time I heard this album, I did not like it really. It really grew on me, though. The first few tracks, Insane, Running in Vain, Black is the Soul, and The Hating. They're really good. My favorite song on the album, though, is A Different World featuring Corey Taylor from Slipknot. Great tune. And then after that, Take Me, which I am not a fan of that song. It's the only track on the album that I really just don't like. And then there's another just kind of okay song, which is When You're Not There. It's alright, but everything else is pretty good. So, 9, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do for 9, but I couldn't really figure out what I wanted to do. So, I lost the CD. I don't know where the hell it is. Alright, I found the CD. 9 is probably what my favorite modern Korn album. I mean, album that's released within like the last few years, which is Requiem, which is their album that came out last year. This is their shortest album, but really, that doesn't really matter. All it really matters is what's in the album. Every song on here, except for Hopeless and Beaten, is good. I don't like Hopeless and Beaten. I think it's actually pretty boring. Besides that, Penance to Sorrow and Disconnect, those two songs are my favorite on the album. They're fucking great. Album cover, I've never really understood Korn's album covers. They're not bad, but I've never understood them. Number 8, I was going to put it at number 9 because, well, I don't know why. But then I realized I have nostalgia, kind of some, nostalgia with this album, which is Untouchables. This is one that I know a lot of people would probably put in top 5. Me, this used to be playing in my CD player like 24/7. Like, this was probably, if there was a most played Korn CD that I own, it's probably this one. So I guess I just kind of burnt myself out of it. It's still a great album though. I mean, I'm just kind of tired of it, and I still am, which is probably why it's so low. But Here to Stay, a classic. Everybody knows it. Thoughtless, One More Time, Alone I Break. What else? I'm Hiding. Wake Up Hate fucking sucks. Blame is another great one. Very underrated. But, there are some songs on here that I'm just really tired of, like Make Believe and fucking Bottled Up Inside, Hollow Life, Hating. It's not bad. I'm just kind of fucking tired of it. 7 is The Paradigm Shift. I think this is, without a doubt, their most underrated album. It's got so many good songs. The only 2 songs I don't like on this album are Victimized and It's All Wrong, which are the 2 final tracks. So when they get, when it gets to those 2 tracks, I can just pop the CD out of my CD player. But I really think this album, I don't know, I feel like this album's not really forgotten, but if Korn had a forgotten album, I feel like this is what it would be, because I hear like nobody talking about this album ever. I think it's easily the most underrated album. It's got a shit ton of great songs, Pray For Me, Love and Meth, What We Do, Spike in My Veins, and Mass Hysteria. Those are the first 5 songs. And they're probably the best on the album. Paranoid and Aroused is great too. Never Never, which was I think it was the first single of this album, and then probably the most popular. It was really good. So yeah, I think the Paradigm Shift is extremely fucking underrated. Number 6, though, is Take a Look in the Mirror. This was the last album with the original lineup, JD, Head, Monkey, Fieldy, and David, released in 2003. And besides this, if I had to have like a top 3 heaviest Korn albums, it'd be the first album, The Serenity of Suffering, and this. It's got, Right Now, Breaks Them Off, Counting on Me, Here It Comes Again, Deep Inside, Did My Time, which is probably my favorite on the album. Alive is very underrated, same with I'm Done. Y'all Want a Single, everybody fucking knows it. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff on this album, and I feel like it's very underrated because a lot of people don't like this album. I've heard a lot of people, I've heard people say they don't like this album, and I don't really know why. And I probably will never know why. But we're not going to talk about the music video for right now, because that shit is fucking wild. Anyways, Now that we're finally in the top 5, these are like the best Korn albums, the best of the best, my favorites. So number 5 is "See You on the Other Side" from 2005. This is probably my favorite album cover by Korn, at least one of them. I think it's really fucking cool. You know, we have fucking ton. You know, every song on here is at least very solid. So, you know, I really don't have much to say about it, except that it's a great album, and, you know, a lot of people do say, you know, and there's another one I hear a lot of people say that this is not a good album. I disagree. This was my least favorite Korn album at one point, though, but obviously it's not anymore. Now, if you've been paying attention, you would notice that the top 4 are going to be the 90s albums, because Korn's 90s albums are some of the greatest albums ever fucking made. So number 4 is "Follow the Leader." I think "Follow the Leader" is my least favorite of the 90s Korn album. Still think it's fucking fantastic. I love it. It's just my least favorite. You know, it's got "Freak on a Leash." Everybody fucking knows it. "Got the Life," "Dead Bodies Everywhere" probably being my favorite. "Children of the Corn," BBK, "Pretty" is a pretty fucked up song. You know, "My Gift to You." "Camel Toast" is pretty underrated too. You know, "All in the Family" with fucking Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit. That song fucking sucks, but it's fun. Yeah. Also, probably the most iconic album cover. You know, so many people, you know, such a fucking great album. So number 3 was one that was at number 1 for the longest time for me, which is "Issues." I love that album cover, and it wasn't even made by Korn. It was actually made in a contest. You know, every song, you know, there's no bad songs in the album. There's, you know, "Beg for Me," "Falling Away from Me," probably one of the most popular songs. "It's Gonna Go Away," which is it's an interlude. That's what I can say. You know, "Hey Daddy," which is another good one. "Somebody Someone," "Let's Get This Party Started." "Dirty," which is a great fucking closer. It's fucking great. Uh, the 4 actually, hold on, let me show. Those are the 4 contestants for the album covers. I think the Doll's always been my favorite. I don't know. There's just something about it, man. Uh, I almost put this number 1, but number 2 is gonna be the first album, the debut, the first ever nu metal album. "Blind." Everybody and their mother knows "Blind." "Ball Tongue," which is one of my favorites on here. My favorite is probably, I don't know, every song on here. My favorite is probably "Helmet in the Bush." I think it's so underrated. A lot of people don't fucking talk about it. It's probably like I think it's the least popular song in this album, which sucks because it's probably one of my all-time favorite Korn songs too. It's so dark and fucked up, but this whole album's dark and fucked up. But my favorite Korn album has to be "Life is Peachy." I fucking, there's something about it. There's so much charm to this one album. Every song, you know, it opens with "Twist." Everybody knows "Twist." It's a meme. Then it goes into "Chi," which I'm pretty sure was a tribute song or something to the bassist of Deftones. Not tribute, because he died only 10 years ago, and this album came out 20-something years ago. But, you know, it was named after him. And then, you know, "Lost," "Swallow," "Porno Creep," "Good God," "Mr. Rogers," the K-Word song, "Can't Say That," "No Place to Hide," "Wicked," "Adidas," you know, all of it. "Kill You" is a pretty fucked up song that's very sad. You know, just, I don't know. And the album cover's fucking dark as hell, too. It's like a boy, or like a boy who has grown up, and the grown up version of himself is looking back at his past self. That's what I think of it as. But yeah, it's a great album cover. So yeah, that does it for this video. Uh, it's probably a shitty video, but you know, that was kind of the point. And the point of it was just to have fun with it, I guess. So yeah, I might make another ranking video or something. I don't fucking know. Anyways, see ya.